Okay, we're recording live now. Well, not live. We're recording for our Aerial Scammers podcast. My soon-to-be wife and I, Star Ruby, and she's going to be asking questions, from what I understand. Is that correct, Ruby? Mi amor?
Yes, of course.
Preguntas? ¿Tiene preguntas?
Oh, yeah.
Para mí? ¿Sí?
Preguntas para ti.
Para mí? Okay.
Yes. I want to know how have been your evolution spiritually, and how you achieved that arising of the Kundalini and the third eye opening.
Okay, as I recall, you gave a small blog article on this as well. You interviewed me before, correctly? Is that correct? Though, you interviewed me before.
Yes.
Okay, and well, the process by which I study a lot of there's a lot of teachings out there. One of Hindu teachings, even have a lot of exoteric teachings. I speak a lot about exoteric teachings and how none of them are really the way in which to gain enlightenment. Not for me. They might for some other people. That was really what I was saying, is that ceremonial magicians might work. It might work for some people. For me, it was a process of bhakti yoga and raha yoga, essentially, where I just changed my thoughts and to love until the kundalini arose and the heart chakra spun, and that's what sowing the seed is in the Bible. A sower went out to sow, and you sow the seed in your heart, and you plant, and you nourish it with which is intelligent cosmic vibration, and that's how you water that seed, is with or love. And you also have to change your mind, which is Sophia. So everybody knows you have the Sophia, and you have to change your mind. That's why you have the Christ, pointing up as well towards heaven, the heart, and as above, so below, and the heart and the mind.
Okay.
So it's both the heart. So it's interesting. It's not just the mind process. It's almost like the heart itself is a mind of its own in a way. It's almost odd. It's almost like it. And if you think about planetary beings could very well reside in your chakras as well and be connected to those chakras. In regards, because they each represent a planet. Each chakra represents a planet. So that was just an off the top. That was just off the subject. Go ahead.
It is interesting, and I get your point about the heart also having its own purpose of thinking in a way, and it's interesting. It made me remind about my studies in the University of Legal Medicine, and the teacher, it was a doctor and also a lawyer, and he mentioned a lot about having emotional intelligence, something like that, under the perspective of these people. He was a doctor in psychiatrics, so they mentioned the ability of balancing mind and heart.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Can you describe the experiences that you have been able to reach, or the states, the spiritual states that you are able to reach after this process that lets you to arise the Kundalini?
The only way to describe it is energy, and that it is just pure energy, unadulterated energy. Because if the Kundalini drops, you become either too electrical or too magnetic. But in the moment of a high state of samadhi, it's really just intense joy and bliss, and and you just feel in that moment, you know, you don't die. Basically, you know, you're just eternal in that moment. You're like everything I was worrying about is stupid because because life's kind of just like, you know, like I'm this great ball of energy, just down here having this experience with the flesh and with the earth, but I'm pure fucking energy. And it's kind of like that's the thought I had. That's the epiphany I had at that moment. Like, holy shit! Like, this isn't no joke. This is real shit. Like, I'm eternal in that moment, and that's how that moment was.
In that moment, you could say that is not a joke, but perhaps its material existence, it is a joke.
It is sort of just a big parody. Yeah, that's the only way I can look at it. I even try not to look at death. I try to not look at death in that perspective because that's what the Hindu teacher of mine had said. Try not to take death too lightly of other people, but I sort of do. I guess in a necrotic sort of sense because I know we're just energy and we go and we disperse and we might even have to come back for whatever reason back to this planetary nod.
Yes,
until it's destroyed. Until it's destroyed.
It's true. It is just that sometimes
all planets go through that.
There is people happier in life, and they seem not to worry about life so much that like they take life not lightly, but not so seriously. And I think people is brainwashed to be worrying about everything in life. So in some sort, it is important to know that the real existence of the soul is beyond this kind of.
Well, that's what the tabernacle in the Bible is, from what I've heard, is that this is just a temporal plane.
Yeah.
Just to remind us.
And it's sad, but the conclusion that I can take about is that all these brainwashing to people to not be aware of the greatness of the soul and not so really transcendental of daily or human life have been imposed mainly by religions, especially Catholic religion, Christian religion, that impose people to think that they are guilty, that they deserve to be punished, that they are meant to lift a burden during their lives across, and even contraring what the main character of the religion talked about love and being all gods. He even says that if Jesus exists sometime, well, he talked something different.
Well, he said, "Lo here, lo there." Obviously, everybody knows that the kingdom of God is within you. He said, those who will even sin too often will even not see the kingdom of God. So it also has to do with preserving sacred fluid. Not to say that you can't indulge in sexual activity, but it's important a lot of times to try to conserve the orgasm. As I wrote in the blog about tantric yoga, which is another aspect to my enlightenment that I actually found out sort of by accident. So I found out, and it's really not so secret. Tantra is pretty well known, and tantra masturbation is also well known, which is also talked about, I believe, in certain parts of Thelema, if I'm not mistaken. Is one of the points of Thelema, if I'm not mistaken, is sacred masturbation, basically, and that's how I came about. Also, enlightenment. Because it made sense to me. Because if you have because enlightenment's based off the sex drive with the Kundalini. So if you have a hypernized sex drive, then you would also gain more quickly a state of enlightenment.
Okay, that is very, very interesting. Mm,
But yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you as far as um, the church doesn't teach really so much about the Christ within, but the
they
Christ
don't,
without.
yeah,
But every religion, what I'm saying is every religion is guilty of that. Even Hinduism is guilty of
yes,
that
it's true.
with their temples, and also even
It is
any.
different what the priestess uh, perform uh, or what they worship is different what to what the people is made to believe by them. And yes, what do you think about people that say they can have a vision of God through another being, a human being, a guru? I say this because I heard someone once saying that she was going to India to visit a temple in which a guru was able to, with only touching the forehead, make the person have a vision of God, and I was really surprised about that. I also knew that the temple charges about having this experience, so to me it was not so.
All I know about this is from what I read in the book Autobiography of a Yogi, where I believe it's uh, whoever Yogananda's guru was, Sir Swami. It wasn't Vinikava. It was I would have to look it up. It's been a while since I read the book. But Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda's guru actually performed that on Yogananda, but only as like a favor. He's like, I'll do this for you because Yogananda was kind of like struggling a little bit spiritually, like getting faith, and so he's like, okay, I'll show you what I see, and he gave him, but he had that chi. All it is a transference of chi. That's all it is. So in order to perform a duty like that, it's like, how much wattage do you have? How much wattage does it take to power this tool? But I only have this amount of wattage, so I can't run this tool. And that's basically what it's like. Either you have enough wattage to do that, or you don't. And that's how that works. That's pure science. That's not me saying being judgmental or anything. That's the scientific yogic fact that how much juice do you got to perform that feat, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So that's what I say on that. Anybody that's performing like that for money now, I had no personal experience in that. I could never know. That person could be real to a degree or completely fake to a degree. I don't know. I know eventually so much greed though would not might not if it's not in the creator's favor decide, will I grant you samadhi still if that person is really truly able to go into such states.
Yes.
So,
Yes, it's true.
but I've heard of other yogis doing such things as wrestling for money. And Autobiography of a Yogi, there was a yogi in there which wrestled for large sums of money, and he got too cocky though, and he got too sure of himself, and he ended up getting injured in the book. So if you eventually abuse yoga, magic, I see you gain
There will be
repercussions.
consequences.
Yeah, there would probably be consequences, which I would say is called black magic.
Yes, yes. Wow. Yes, I think all is about the purpose. That the goal that is wanted in your spiritual practice. But yes, well, basically, uh, it's all for now about my questions.
Okay.
If you want to add something else.
Yeah, I'm always willing to talk about my experience. Really, I don't think honestly I've ever met anybody else that's gone through the process that I have. I don't know if I have or not. You perform a different type of magic. Who could say who's enlightened and who's not anymore?
I know it's true.
All I can speak is from my own experience. Reading people like Yogananda and other individuals like that, great yogis of the East, it just really makes you.
I think that is a great method. I admire a lot. I would like to be able also to know more about that. I think it's great. I have been really all my life admiring every kind of spirituality. Every kind of spirituality. I don't marry to anything especially, but yeah, I think all is about finding the unity of consciousness, alignment. But yes, I admire a lot of the Hinduism so much, and definitely I would like to get more in those practices.
Definitely, yeah, it's all about the mind with those practices because 80% of the world's like the rapper KRS-One said. I really admire a lot about KRS-One, even though he believes in solipsism a little bit. Hope it's cool to say it, but it's like solipsism is basically saying like if a tree falls in forest in the way here, did it really fall? It's like basically did an action occur, outside my perceptual vision. That's what solipsism is. I'm not mistaken. On that.
Yes.
So it's all really mental. Once you start to meditate and go that deep, that's really the biggest part. And then you have the science, the Kundalini. So it's not a very common modality to approach magic. A lot of people don't want to approach it in that because it is a very tough discipline at first, and it's very easily, especially when you're surrounded with other aspects of the world, even more and more, and especially if you're empathic to your surroundings around you, it can really change your inner reflection and your outer projection out into the world.
Meditation was also and have been very important during a time ago when I was younger and still not a mother. I was also practitioner of Kung Fu, that is Wushu, ancient martial arts of China, that actually involves more than 300 different styles, and the difference with other Eastern styles is that they prevailed a lot the meditation as well as the physical part. They had to integrate the physical movements and physical state with the meditation, basically that, and it really was the main part and the starting of each session of classes of Kung Fu. It was meditation, like for 30 minutes or something. Then the Sifu, that is the instructor, started the warming and all the resistance work and the postures and the fight itself. Yes, and that is really great. Even more, the Kung Fu also involves that style, very, very well known, of Tai Chi. That is about it is not about strength, but connection with the energies.
Sure. Transference of even the kinetic energy, would you say?
And this teacher, this guy, was Colombian, but he actually studied in a temple in China, and he got black belt after many, many years of practices and tournaments and all that. And he said to us that there in China there are ancient, or not ancient, but very old grown folk that have been all their lives practicing the kung fu and practicing meditation and all that, and developing the chi and be able to handle that chi, that is the energy, the same ki, and they can just in the extreme of a hole of a room being far from you, just send an energy with a strike in the air and reach you and kill you if they want to do that. And he saw that many times. He saw that with a simple movement of the hand, they handle the energy to make a wound in a person through the clothes without damaging the clothes.
I know what you mean, sure.
So
interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting.
It is very. I remember that, and meditation. After that, I also practiced meditation by my own, and I try to do it as much as I can.
Focusing chi onto a person's body part. Very interesting.
Yes, he said that actually he saw that in a class being performed by a grown man, an old man. They have a lot of that strength that is not physical, but is all even magical.
Very lovely.
Yes, like what is described or depicted in cartoons like Dragon Ball and all that.
Absolutely, focusing the chi. Absolutely.
Yes, it is a very nice.
Yeah.
I think we should perhaps start eventually practicing the Tai Chi.
Reiki is probably similar in
Yes.
different. It's just similar. Just
and all is
polarities.
connected. I remember the teacher talking us a lot about Chinese medicine, all that methods that they have to equilibrate the energies in the body.
Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it's been an awesome interview. Thank you so much for your time, as always.
Okay. As always, man.